Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Elliott Ning. I am responsible for enterprise cloud solutions at Google. Very happy to be here. I love sharing my knowledge, things I learn from the industry, and also discuss any cool designs and ideas. I am a big fan and supporter of AI democratization. So I hope we can bring more innovative tools to the market. So more and more people can choose the right technology to solve their problems with the power of AI. So today, let's talk about how we can solve a common problem in many organizations. How to deal with a growing number of documents. More importantly, not just how we can understand them, but also turn them into meaningful information that can bring values to your business. So here is my agenda today. So let's first quickly talk about the current market challenges. And of course, if there are challenges, there will be opportunities. Second, I will briefly set the level, go over what is document AI, what does it do, and how can it help your business. And then we will uncover what is under the hood. Get a little technical, talk about the technology, right? Including computer vision, natural language processing, and data warehouse. So, and then I'm gonna wrap up, summarize some of the key things that we cover, and also give some recommendations if we have enough time. All right, so let's first talk about the market. So we are in a rapidly evolving world. Customer expectations are higher than ever. As a business, to stay competitive, you need to constantly look for ways to innovate. You need to bring new products, new features, new service to the market in order to be relevant and stay successful. So every company has documents. So we're not just talking about papers, but also in digital formats. So this may apply to your business because according to the robotic process automation vendors, they estimate over 50% of the workload begin with a document. There could be forms, POs, invoices, etc. So how's that leading us? We are facing challenges. The challenges of processing all these documents. So you have all kinds of documents, forms, images, contracts, NDAs, emails, so the list just keeps going. Some of these you may have a manual process to understand because that will be the requirement for doing your business. But there are many others. So those documents could give you valuable insight into your business and your customers. But instead, they're just sitting there because it's difficult to read and understand. So the complexity of documents have increased exponentially as business practice evolve. High volume. So the number of documents will not stop. They'll keep growing. The processes that we have involve large volumes of unstructured content, may not be able to keep up with that kind of growth. We're also facing high diversity. So with different new digital transformation tools that your organization adopts, the incoming data spans a wide variety of document types and formats. There'll be documents, there'll be Excel sheets, slides, PDFs, JSONs, XMLs, or a lot of people actually use free-form text. And there will be external knowledge. So in the modern business, the market demands you to evaluate documents against not just your local environment, but also a global knowledge base. There will be different kinds of language, different kinds of knowledge, localizations, behavior, cultural, and more. And the last one is semantic depth. So you want to cross-link the incoming data stream with multiple other data sources to generate new values. So one change that may reference and impact many additional data records that's within your organizations or maybe across multiple organizations. According to research, only 20% of the enterprise data is optimized for computer to read. So those are relatively easier to understand and utilize. But for the rest, 80% of the data is not. So they may not have a predefined formats or patterns that you can easily parse the information. They may require a large amount of examples and complex machine learning models to be trained and built. Or they could be just, some random conversations between your support, your customers, your people, your engineers. Or there may be images or logs that are generated by some kind of systems that you build. So if you already have, or if you're already trying to make sense of these documents, of course, you can spend a lot of time and money on processing and analyzing them. But that's prone to inaccuracy from human errors or incomplete information. So what do we do? So what if there is a solution that you could easily process your documents and unlock their full value without complex operations and large upfront investment? That's what document AI comes to place. Document AI turns unstructured documents into structured data. It brings so much benefits for using AI to automate the process. It reduces error and manual process. It can increase theoretically to any volume as long as the infrastructure scales. It's much faster. It also boosts productivity by having the capability to easily integrate with many downstream services. And of course, it may understand better than human. So after all, we love structured data. If we can somehow magically turn all these documents into a structured format, that means we can now understand and utilize it in the way that we prefer. We can run queries on it. So document AI is not a single product. It's actually a collection of tools and services that can help you in different stages of the process. For example, here it's a typical document understanding flow. Step one is to read and extract the text and values from the documents. Yeah, you may think about Word docs, right? Yes, text format is relatively easier, but what about images? What about PDFs? File that you scanned, including handwritings. So the key for stage one is to make sure that we have the right information collected from the raw format. Step 2 is to understand the information extracted from the documents. So there are many ways, including summarizing. So what is the key content that all these documents are talking about? Classifying, are they belonging to specific categories like certain market, certain products, or certain features that you care? Analyzing, you can analyze things like sentiment. Are the customer happy or not when they're talking about certain things? And then step 3 is to make it useful by creating meaningful insight. What does it mean by meaningful insight? So since the data is in structured form, so you can do all kinds of analytical operations like aggregating, counting, sorting, grouping, etc. For example, right, you can find out how many customers are happy about something, not happy about something, or you may be able to cross-reference customers in different products, different market segments to compare the behaviors. So Document AI gives you a competitive advantage and allows you to reinvest, repurpose your resources. You can increase your operational efficiency by fully automating the process, improve your customer experience, and more importantly, unlocks the value by providing strategic insight from the documents which you are not leveraging today. So you can see, Document AI has been using in many industry use cases. Retail, healthcare, financial, entertainment, manufacturing, right? So you may be wondering, okay, now Document AI is really useful, but how does it work? How can I start? So now let's unveil what is under the hood of Document AI. Here are some core components. So it's not limited to only these technologies. For document extraction, computer vision is the key. There will be optical character recognition, OCR, to recognize text from the images. And of course, there will be different type of specialized parsers for forms and invoices. For information understanding, you can leverage natural language processing by using the pre-built API on generic use case, or you can build customized models by taking the advantage of AutoML NLP with minimal effort and machine learning expertise. And then, of course, you're going to need a solid data warehouse to store and gain insight from the analyzed data. You can choose to build everything yourselves. But what if there's a platform that consists in different kinds of managed tools and giving you the flexibility to create the pipeline that you want? My suggestion is always to use the right technology that makes more sense to your business. So in order to read the variety of documents properly, you need computer vision, or OCR, to turn the document into text format, because computers can read text. So how many people actually willing to build OCR by yourself? I believe not many, because it's not very productive. So here's the API service that you can create OCR processor with literally 2 clicks. After it's been created, there will be an endpoint that you can send your files to and get results back very, very quickly. So there are many types of processors that you can create based on your documents and applications. There are two main categories: general purpose and specialized parsers. For general documents, you can use things like base OCR to identify and extract text in different type of documents, like the one that's shown on the slide. It has world-class accuracy. It supports over 200 languages and also 50 different languages for handwriting recognition. For domain-specific documents, you can choose from different type of form parsers like W2, W9, 1040, etc., to extract the special structures from the documents with key value pairs. There's also invoice parsers, which can extract text and values from invoices, such as dates, addresses, phone numbers, companies, price, and other values. So now you have all the content in text format. Let's try to understand it. So in order to understand the text content, we need NLP. The fastest way to achieve NLP is through NLP API. So there are powerful pre-built models of the natural language that empowers developers to easily apply natural language understanding to your applications with features including sentiment analysis, entity analysis, content classification, and syntax analysis, right? Without you to build and train any models. So this is the design of our model, your data. So you send your prediction data and you can get results back right away. But if you say, I need a high quality and customized model, then I would suggest you take a look at AutoML. AutoML natural language enables you to build and deploy custom machine learning models that analyze documents by categorizing, identifying entities, and assessing attitudes. So instead of spending large amount of time and investment on acquiring lots of images, identifying algorithms, tuning the parameters, training and deploying the models, you can just let AutoML to handle it behind the scene. You will still go through the whole machine learning training process, but in a much more efficient way. So what you need to do is to feed your text content into the system. You can label keywords and phrases on the UI or through API. So AutoML helps you automatically determine the best model for your data. There's no need for tuning because AutoML will also test in parallel multiple combinations of models and parameters and make sure you get the best result. Once the training process completes, an API endpoint will be available for you to evaluate the model manually. And once you feel confident about the custom model that you built, you can do one click to deploy and integrate with your existing applications without worry about anything like hosting, high availability, scaling in a fully managed fashion. So it sounds too good to be true. AI is a complex subject, but we shouldn't make it more complex to use. So that is the biggest reason why I support AI democratization, to let more people accessible to useful AI. So there are many benefits for using AutoML natural language or document AI. You get custom model. You train custom machine learning models with much faster time. It can be done in hours instead of days and weeks. It only acquires less amount of data. You can provide like hundreds of examples instead of the regular AI, which requires millions of examples. It has integrated REST API. So now the NLU is accessible via comprehensive REST APIs. You can send text, upload it via request, or you can integrate it with cloud storage. It's powered by Google's AutoML models. You can leverage Google's state-of-the-art AutoML technology to produce high-quality models. So instead of building from ground up, you're building on top of a sophisticated base foundation that many Google machine learning engineers have been working on for years. Things you can do. You can have custom content classification. You can create labels to customize models for unique use cases using your own training data. You can get custom entity extraction. You can identify entities within documents and label them based on your own domain-specific keywords or phrases, like your product, your feature names. You can also do custom sentiment analysis. Understand the overall opinions, right? Feelings or attitudes expressed in not just keywords, right? But also in a block of text. Then you can tune it to your own domain-specific sentiment scores. All right, so in order to make predicted information useful, you're going to need a solid data foundation, a good data warehouse. BigQuery is Google's fully managed, highly scalable enterprise data warehouse solution. BigQuery is very easy to use. SQL queries. It's serverless. There's no hosting, no system, no cluster to worry about. Performance is amazing. You can scale terabytes in seconds and petabytes in minutes. It supports both batch and streaming, so it offers real-time insights from your streaming data. They have built-in machine learning out of the box for things like regressions and recommendations. It works with high-speed in-memory BI engine for faster reporting and analysis. BigQuery is designed to make data analysts and data scientists more productive. And it is secure, offering that data encryption always by default to ensure data security. BigQuery is a very sophisticated and mature service with many moving pieces. So now let's take a look at the architecture behind the scene in high level. Storage and compute are decoupled and can scale independently on demand. So this offers immense flexibility and also cost control for your business, because you don't need to keep your expensive compute resource up and running all the time. So this is a very different than the traditional node-based data warehouse solution or any on-prem systems. On the storage side, the system is called Colossus, which is a successor to Google File System, GFS. It's highly durable, it's incredibly performant, and super scalable in a distributed fashion. There's lots of optimization that will be done, right, to optimize the data distribution for your query performance. On the compute side, the execution engine is called Dremel. So the Dremel engine uses a multi-level serving tree for scaling out all your SQL queries. It dynamically assigns slots to queries as on-demand basis. So a single user can get thousands of compute slots to run queries, and regardless of the node failures. So due to the separation design, right, in order to connect the compute and storage layers, BigQuery uses ultra-fast network, which can deliver terabytes of data in seconds directly from storage into compute for running the Dremel jobs. There is just so much to do that I can talk about for this amazing technology. So feel free to read more about the documentation, or you can connect with me to discuss any design use case. All right, so I think we have briefly walked through a life of a document. So first, you can convert input, right, like PDF to images. You can use optionally AutoML vision, something I actually didn't talk about because of time, but it is available to classify images into domain-specific types and categories. And then you can run OCR with Vision API to extract the text from the documents. But of course, you can skip the step if they are already text-based format. After that, you can use a trained AutoML natural language model to extract the key fields, classify specific domains, and analyze attitudes or sentiments when needed. Finally, you can save all the results in BigQuery. Now you can run SQL queries to analyze and also on the extracted information to the way that you want. So there are many components you can mix and match to build a process pipeline that fits your needs. Depending on the use case, depending on your files, and the most important thing is the insight that you are expected to get from these documents. So that pretty much wraps up my presentation today. My suggestion for everyone, if you do have a whole bunch of documents, think about what might be the use case, get a high-level understanding what they are, what you may be able to get out of it, and then you can go to Google Cloud website, search for document AI, take a look at the available tools, right? You don't need to be a machine learning expert and very minimum coding required. You can start thinking and even trying the activities, right, that you would need along the document understanding process. Of course, if you have any additional questions, Google team is always willing to help. Thank you very much.